Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at starting a Leagues of Votann army in Warhammer 40,000. This video is sponsored by the Game Bunker. More on that later. Starting a Leagues of Votann army in Warhammer 40,000. Everything you need to know from painting to lore. Alright, so if you're looking to get started in Warhammer 40,000 with the Space Dwarves, the Leagues of Votann are the faction for you. The ancestors are watching. We got a beautiful piece of art right here with the Leagues of Votann and a Tyranid battle in the background. Deep in the galactic core, where most cannot stand the immense gravitational forces exerted by ancient clusters of stars and advanced civilization of miners and merchants endures. Guided by the failing wisdom of colossal computation intelligences known as the Votann, they strive to survive in the most inhospitable regions of the galaxy, navigating the void with the skill of the expert starfarers on a never-ending expedition for vital resources. They are the Leagues of Votann, born pioneers and industrialists, who strip worlds to the core and wield powerful technologies on the battlefield at the direction of the enigmatic ancestor cores. Known for their abjurancy and refusal to bow under pressure, they are deeply communal people that will take on the deadliest of trials to uphold the honor of their kin, be they flesh and blood or mechanical. Here's everything you need to know if you're thinking of starting an army of these resilient and determined acquisitors. Part 1. Leagues of Votann Explained. The Leagues of Votann are a network of vast interstellar alliances and mercantile conglomerates, comprising hundreds of thousands of autonomous, largely cooperative kindreds. Part military coalition, part trading compact, each league is held together by sworn oaths and barter deals which are upheld in ironclad determination. And again, another awesome piece of artwork right here. At the core of these leagues are the Votann themselves, the ancestor cores, revered in much the same way as gods are for more religious factions. The Votann are incredibly ancient, sentient supercogitators crafted by unknown hands in the distant past, bestowed with seemingly supernatural intelligence and boundless wisdom to aid their leagues in the conquest of the galaxy's harshest environments. Kindreds in possession of a Votann form the central node of their league, and the wisest of the kin are permitted to beseech his contact terminals or fanes for advice. Not all is well with the Votann, however, for the unlikely that these creators designed them to operate for as long as they have now. As the leagues reverently offer up their experiences and resources to help the ancestor cores grow, the caseless deluge of data has begun to strain their capabilities in the limits of their data stacks, causing each individual Votann to start developing its own quirks, inconsistencies, and faults, though no kin that administers them would countenance such an idea. So basically got like these super AI cores that have been around for countless centuries, a vast array of knowledge that the Votann are able to tap into, and an amazing resource as they utilize, and slowly but surely they're starting to fade in their efficiency and overall usefulness. Most of the kin are part of a clone race of manufactured biological specialists imbued with ancient knowledge and familial bonds of the moment of their birth. They share in society equally with the Ironkin, sentient artificial intelligences created by the Votann and housed in robotic bodies. Unlike most of their galactic neighbors, the Ironkin are treated as equal on every level, and few distinctions are made between them and their society. Kin physiology is made up of a wide sequence of stable genetic templates, known as clone skins. The Votann birth new kin designed according to their particular needs of society at large. Many are designed specifically to survive in external environmental conditions, though there are other more specialized mutations, including increased visual range, heightened reactions, or even limited psychic abilities, as embodied by the Grimnir, whose role in society is interfaced directly with the Votann. Legends hold that the kin were created to travel the stars and conquer their deepest riches of the galaxy, and the adaptations that make them such proficient miners and pioneers also make them highly capable soldiers. Yet as with everything amongst the kindreds, as the Votann slowly fall into sentience, the cloning process is beginning to degrade, to growing concerns amongst the cloning guilds. And once again, some awesome Votann art. The original Votann were created to house a vast array of standard template construct systems for advanced technological wonders that would aid the kin in their voyages, and many of these machines are still produced in the original specifications. From weapons and armor to drilling tools and vehicles, much of their war gear bears a superficial similarity to the wielded by human armies, including bolt and plasma weapons, but is built to a much higher standard. All of this wondrous technology is crafted within the Hold's central forges, which are administered by the Brokir, the master artisans and tinkerers. Though they adhere broadly to ancient schematics in deference to their honored ancestors, they also view the slow refinement and perfection of the device as sacred duty in the honor of the Votann. On the battlefield, the Leagues of Votann exploit their natural resources and powerful war gear to brawl with opposing armies at medium range, often muscling their way into objectives before consolidating their gains and protecting their territory at all costs. Their shorter stature renders most of the infantry a touch slower than other factions, but they make up for it with teleporting elites, fast transport vehicles, and long-range firepower. Oath bands are fully capable of matching other armies in close combat, with specialized units like Chthonian berserkers swinging massive weapons adapted for mining tools. Their versatility means that they will always have an answer for any trial, from towering imperial knights to teeming hordes of Tyranid bioforms. and they'll weather whatever attacks come their way without complaint. A Leagues of Votann army will appeal to players who like to play with lots of durable units who can take a beating and dish out damage in return, including lots of special purpose units excelling at one task rather than diluting themselves over multiple roles. They have a look and feel that's entirely unique within the world of Warhammer 40,000 and reward hard work and focus on your goals, just like the kin themselves. Remember, luck has, need keeps, toil earns. So obviously some absolutely awesome lore. It has changed over the years as they've went from squats to Votann. But as it has expanded and been refined, I really love the direction that Games Workshop has gone with the Votann, and the model range is absolutely amazing.
Now a quick word from today's sponsor, Game Bunker. Game Bunker carries a full range of Games Workshop products, including miniatures, terrain, paint, tools, and more. Game Bunker offers 15% off MSRP for most Games Workshop products with the discount code WHMS. Receive free shipping in the continental United States on orders over $145. Online orders ship out within 24 hours. Game Bunker is a veteran-owned business. Use affiliate link below, enter discount code WHMS to save 15% on most items at checkout. For fast, friendly service with a discount on your favorite tabletop wargaming purchases, visit GameBunker.net and let them know that Warhammer Man sent you.
Part 2, Combat Patrol. Combat Patrol is a game mode perfect for beginners and veterans alike, in which smaller forces clash in fast-paced, balanced games. The Leagues of Votann bring a mixed force of durable infantry to the table with a balanced spread of range and close combat firepower, ready to tackle any trials that their venture might throw up. Alright, so here we have the new Combat Patrol, the Baneslayer's Bulwark, and it has 10 Hearthguard Warriors, 3 Brokir Thunderkin, 5 Einhir Hearthguard, and then the Vine Baneslayer. Baneslayer's Bulwark are led by the Einhir Champion, a ferocious melee specialist with a hammer powerful enough to grapple vehicles, and his bodyguard of 5 Einhir Hearthguard elites who can fight effectively at any range. With them march 10 Hearthkin warriors to handle day-to-day objective capturing and close-range firefights, who may be split into 2 units of 5 when you need a little extra compete for board space. Long-range support comes in the form of the Brokir Thunderkin, who use industrial exoframes to heft huge SP conversion beamers. These esoteric energy cannons can get stronger the further they are away from the target, so you need to keep them safely away from the flanking forces and teleporting melee specialists. Alright, and then we got a download sheet for the core rules, data sheets, and the Combat Patrol missions, which are all free. Part 3, Painting. There are a wide variety of colors to choose from when painting your Leagues of Votann army, as many leagues, kindreds, and kin hosts exist to display their own livery when mustering for war. Individual squads may even mix up their kindred's palette to mark veteran statues or special assignments. Veterans of the Trans-Hyperion Alliance paint one of their arms black, for instance, though dedicating to the tradition and honor of the leagues mean that few diverge too far from their core colors. Some kin wear armored plates on top of flexible void-sealed suits, giving you a great variety of textures and material to play with. Basing your color scheme around the two-tone approach will keep the whole army looking consistent even as you adapt it for vehicles, elites, and characters, while the abundance of smooth armor faces and sharp corners provide an excellent tapestry for decals and weathering. So here we can see the Citadel color of recommended paints, and obviously this is going to depend on which color scheme you decide for your armor, but we have Sons of Horus Green, Deepkin Flesh, Koala Green Shade, Retributor Armor, Lead Belcher, Mechanicum Standard Gray, Abaddon Black, Cassandara Yellow, Nolan Oil, Mornfang Brown, Astro Granite, and Reichland Flesh Shade. To help ease your miniatures into the battlefield with a simple, achievable color scheme that works across a wide variety of units, the Warhammer 40,000 painting team have put together a list of paints for the Greater Turian League, as featured on the Combat Patrol box. This is by no means an exhaustive primer. However, you are fully encouraged to modify the existing League's color schemes or come up with something brand new. The ancestors are watching, and they love to see some nice bright kin on the battlefield. Part 4, Next Steps. Once you have a few Combat Patrol games under your belt and you're ready to hit the battlefield in the name of the Ancestor Corps, you might be wondering where to go next. Your first stop is Codex Leagues of Votann, the essential companion to the faction containing plenty of background lore and showcase of gorgeously painted miniatures, as well as rules for 21 different units and plenty of different ways to play them. Together with a copy of the Warhammer 40,000 core rulebook, you'll have all the rules you need to start playing full-size games of Warhammer 40,000. The Combat Patrol is an excellent starting point for your army as it gives you a powerful character, durable infantry for holding objectives, a unit of elite warriors, and lethal long-range firepower. This covers all your basics for core infantry force, and anything you add from here will be building on the rock-solid foundation. To complement the impressive firepower of the starting army, you may want to turn to melee specialists of the Chthonian mining guilds, whose Chthonian berserkers hit very hard. Though lightly armored, they make up for their extreme natural resilience and a network of augmentics that flood their bodies with cybersims should they be injured in combat. So here we can see the Chthonian berserkers, obviously very cool and definitely a massive melee threat. Ironkin Steeljacks are equally hard, reveling their large frames granted by the Votann. Their strength and stature mark them out as blessed companions amongst their Oathbound, and they can be equipped either for long-range combat or close combat as your army requires. So here we see the brand new Ironkin Steeljacks with the dual build, either shooting or combat, and then of course we have Buri Agnerson. You have a wide selection of capable leaders to helm your oath band, but few carries much fearsome a reputation as Birya Agnerson, the thrice devoured. This legendary warrior carries an eternal grudge against the Tyranids for consuming his league, and packs a monstrous amount of killing power into a diminutive frame. The Kin's mastery of technology extends to the motor pool, where the exploration and excavation equipment double up as fully combat-capable vehicles equal to many factions' dedicated tanks. Hernkin pioneers ran into battle on nippy magna coil bikes, which complement the grinding core of your army with a quick flanking force for picking up stragglers and isolated targets. So here we can see the Hernkin pioneers, and then each one's got a driver, and then 1 per 3 can actually have a rider with an extra big gun on the back. Then we also have the Sagittar dedicated troop transport, and the Hecaton land fortress, which is their dedicated tank with transport capabilities. The versatile Sagittar is a tough and reliable vehicle that specializes in carrying troops across the battlefield to double quick speeds, and then sticking around to support them in combat. They can even split a squad of Hernkin warriors between 2 transports and take them in opposite directions, getting more out of your basic units. In the deadliest battles and most hostile environments, Hecaton land fortresses are the final word in protection and destruction. They can carry a sizable payload of heavy infantry, including Hearthguard and Steeljacks, and pack some of the strongest weapons available to the Oathbound, such as the heavy Magna Rail Cannon. And then we have Part 5, Fiction. As a relatively new faction in the world of Warhammer 40,000, the Leagues of Votann have a wealth of background lore available in their Codex, and their Black Library debut came out in The High King's Oath by Gav Thorpe. This groundbreaking novel explores the relationship between the isolated kindred of the rest of the League, as Mertir Demagrot and her comrades must give up their life for excitement and high adventure when the message reaches their hold ship the dire news. It's a perfect starting point to learn more about how the Leagues of Votann live and fight, from the perspective of those at the front lines of the conflicts, as their galactic store is riven with warp storms and encroaching foes. And then here we can see 6 start your collection, and we have the Combat Patrol, the Codex, and then some additional units that you can add on, and then of course you can shop the full range. So very cool. Leagues of Votann have a beautiful model range now with the release of their new Codex and a bunch of new miniatures. They are super cool and thematic. I love the background lore. I love the stories, the way the armies look on the tabletop. And they are an excellent and awesome faction to grace the table in Warhammer 40,000. So let me know if you're thinking about starting a Leagues of Votann army, if you've already been playing the Leagues of Votann, any particular units that you like the look or style of gameplay of. Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. And as always, special thanks to the Game Bunker for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on most Games Workshop products with code WHMS at checkout. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.